Man, this is my ninja.
I kind of hinted that thanks to a conversation that I had on Twitter with guys like MacD, some Smash players like MacD, and some other people, that I've been an advocate of like, oh hey, like Smash should do this, like the rest of the fighting game community, we should be helping each other and everything like that. And then last week I kind of had this weird aside where I was like, I'm not sure I'm convinced of that anymore. And a whole bunch of people on Twitter are like, can you expand on that? Because I want to know what changed your mind and what happened with that. Like, all of a sudden, why...
Vague messages on social media are always
I mean, it's kind of crazy. They're like text messages. You can only see the words.
What a day, ... What does that mean, James?
Man, I'm tired.
What is that? What am I supposed to gather from that, James?
Was it a joke? Or are you being serious? Who knows?
Well done. Okay. Look, so the conversation that I was having with them kind of changed my mind. One, because of the stuff that they were talking about really started kind of opening my eyes just how different the two communities are. The Smash community and the FGC proper, I'll call it for now, right? And secondly, just some history of how I've approached a lot of things kind of made me feel like I was starting to get into the area of being a little bit hypocritical, so I'll get into that just a little bit here. So, first of all, really what it comes down to is that the Smash community, and again, you know, some people are saying that maybe some Smash players should be here so they could talk about it, but I'm kind of talking about this from our perspective as well, right? From the FGC proper perspective. A lot of people were saying that I was really being talked to about is that the Smash community is pretty different from the fighting game community in that I feel like the documentary and just the god culture that they've generated has really kind of seeped into the very foundation of their culture. Mm-hmm. Their top players aren't just top players. Their top players are like superstars.
They're like icons, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is gotten to a weird, like, so for us, like, a lot of people were telling me, like, Mewtwo King can't even walk across the room. Like, he gets stopped for, like, an hour, and people, like, keep trying to, like, bug him for stuff like that. And I was like, happens to the fighting game community, and people are really understanding in our community. Like, if someone's like, I need to go play, they'd be like, okay. Or, like, if they're practicing, like, if any of a fighting game community sees Justin Wong practicing on a machine, and he's playing against, like, Flash, and they're practicing, most people just sit and watch, and this is really cool. But for some reason in the Smash community, people go up to them and try to ask for photographs while they're practicing, or they try to say, can I get next, and do all this other kind of stuff. And it's really interesting that the culture is kind of different because the top players are so idolized that it's almost like a different thing.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like there's like this separation where like their top players are treated as, like, they're called gods, but are also treated as so, and they've become way more important than the game. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like the game is, like, great. Everybody loves the game, obviously. But the players have elevated above that and matter more to them than any Smash Brothers on the planet. Like, they'd rather just watch all of them sit in a room together than the gameplay almost, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that matters more, and that kind of, like, seeps into the culture. So there's, like, a lot of talk. I saw all the tweets that you mentioned, everything about, like, top players, you know, floating through pools was, like, a discussion. Mm-hmm. And there's, like, a bunch of issues around that. And just all kinds of conflict created by top players wanting more and people being like, yeah, they're top players, they should have it, just give it to them.
Right.
So like there's all this
See,
kind of it's very different from
I don't agree with like the floating stuff. I still don't think that they should do that.
I don't like it either.
The thing about it is like their players, they literally have like their top players literally have no time to practice, and now there's this whole thing of like this fan appreciation time where they have to be scheduled to sit down and have this period of time where they can they're saying that the top players need fan appreciation time where they need to set aside time, and the TOs need to schedule a time for these players.
The reason this happened, in the tweet says like the reason this happened is when there was floating, they didn't show up the first day. Because why would you show up the first day if you're floated into the next day? Like, there's no reason to go and play. So at the venue, it's just like everybody who's not a top player. And they're like, man, this is a really bad experience because none of our good players are here on the first day. So it was like not an interesting thing. So they're like, one of the Smash players, MacD, was like, well, all you have to do then is mandate a 2-hour fan interaction period and make it happen. And somebody else was like, well, how do you make the top players do that? Like, who has the power to say, if you don't show up to this fan interaction time, then you're not in the tournament? Like, that's such a weird, bizarre idea, right? Yeah, it's like a really weird situation.
Why not? First off, okay, there's a few things that I have to say on this. I feel like the Smash community can integrate with the larger FGC or as a community. So this is my personal opinion.
No, I'm not saying that they should separate, but
the reason that I say that is and I was kind of talking about this before we came on. So I feel like as being a part of the FGC has a very set amount of rules and these are unspoken rules for the most part. These are just the honor system. It's like, hey, it's 2 out of 3 or it's 3 out of 5 and this character should be banned and this character should be banned. It's kind of like a voting thing. And for the most part, if you think about it, largely these things go over without a hitch. Remember when they wanted to switch to 3 out of 5 on Marvel? Everybody was like, hey, I want to switch to 3 out of 5 on Marvel. And they was like, why would you want to do that? It's like, well, one, the matches go really fast. The game is kind of random. And on top of that, it's like that. It's lightning fast. So we feel like it'll be more decisive if it was 3 out of 5. The community came together as a whole and was like, you know what? That kind of makes sense. We're going to switch it to 3 out of 5. There was no court ruling. We didn't have to call David to get him to sign a contract. It was like, damn, that kind of makes sense. Let's put it on. Right? I mean, that I know of, you know. And I just feel like as far as having a mandated time, we're playing video games, man. Like, let's be for real. And this is me being all understanding, because when I met like Gutex and Justin Wong and Mike Ross and all these guys, I legit had to tell them that I was just like, dude, I'm a big fan of yours. Now, they could legit be like, get the hell away from me. They could have done that, but they're people. Those are some of the people that understand that we are here to play video games. This is, I mean, don't get me wrong. Hey, I have a lot of people that look up to me, but I look up to even more people in the scene only because of them being a good player. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that we're playing video games. We're not saving kids. You know?
Look, I don't have any kind of hero worship for any players, but it's not just Smash that happens in. It's all the big, like the bigger esports.
Right.
Like I remember, dude, back in 2011 or something, I went to some tournament for StarCraft. It was like NASL, something that died later on. Whatever. And
it must have been StarCraft.
I believe it was StarCraft. Yeah. Anyway, the players who were there were like good players, but it wasn't like Flash or whatever. Like it was like good,
super famous Korean players.
Anyway, there was still a time that was like when you would go to see whoever sign autographs, and like I remember hearing over the loudspeaker like X or Y is going to sign autographs. Literally, people ran. There was an actual crowd of people that ran over to that area. They wanted to section themselves off, the players, that is, from everybody else, because if not, they would have just been constantly talked to and harassed. And so they had like an actual roped off, carpeted area where they walked up into the center stage, and there was no fan interaction at all, because it's fan interaction. It's not like player to better player interaction, which is like how I tend to feel about it. Like if I meet Daigo, it's like, yeah, he's super way better than me, but we both play Street Fighter.
Right. We're playing video games.
But for other people, it's like, wow, I am a fan of Daigo. It's like a different kind of it's like qualitatively different. But this is something that I don't feel myself, but that I know is common. And so if that's happening in Smash too, then I don't know.
This is the thing, right? So one, I mean, Daigo might have pseudo that, but I think he has an advantage is that he doesn't speak English, so he can't really get locked down by
speaks
English.
He does. Yeah, he speaks fine English.
Justin is free, right? We know.
Yeah.
We know.
Well, put it like this.
But go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, because I want to kind of get to the next
Okay.
point. So go.
What I was gonna say was, it's not. I feel like it's one of two things. It's up to the person's discretion to say they want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
To say that they have this time blocked off specifically to say, hey, I'm gonna sign autographs right here and there. I don't feel like that's an issue. But on the same note, you have to think about it collectively as a whole. If you say, yo, we gotta carve out a 2-hour chunk of time just to have somebody talk to somebody, how does that affect the tournament? I feel like in that aspect, that's what separates it from an FGC event. When you say, hey, we need 2 hours just so I can talk to Zero. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we got a tournament to run. I don't know what TO, I mean, more props to you, but I don't know what TO of a fighting game event is going to say, hey, if it's not a panel for you to talk about the discussion and the furthering of the mental mindset or a Daigo or anything like that, you don't need it.
Hey man, I don't know.
Make it a side event. Make it another.
I said, I don't feel it, but other people
Here's
do.
the thing, right? Like, so I've already had stories. Even someone like Toph, he was saying he was playing a match, like an actual tournament match, and after the first game ended, someone walked up to him and asked for a photo.
In the middle of like a tournament?
In the middle of a tournament.
I saw this tweet.
Just happened to Zero as well. It was a young kid, obviously, so the kid didn't know any better, but Zero was playing a match, and after he won the first game, the kid came up and was like, can I get a photo? Right? So here's the thing, right? Their culture... So, look, I agree 100%. I don't think there should be floating. I think fan interaction time is silly. I think players should be all treated like players or whatever. But now here's the point where I start feeling a little hypocritical at this point, right? So a long time ago when MLG tried to absorb the fighting game community, the MLG was like, you guys are doing the continuation rule. And I'm like, you know what, screw you guys are idiots. Yeah. You don't have no idea about our culture, blah, blah, blah. Why are you trying to force your stuff on us, right? So we're at this point right now where, the fighting game proper doesn't feel that way a lot of times. We want to beat the top players. We don't like. Exactly. It's like if I see Justin, if I wasn't friends with Justin, I'd be like, he's really good, but man, I wish I could beat him one of these days.
I don't care regardless. If I'm playing,
yeah.
Hey Justin, who you playing first? Me. I'm gonna beat your ass. See you later.
I beat Justin in the beta for Street Fighter V. I'm never playing that guy.
I did that with a bunch of folks in the beta.
Well, dude, that's me and Justin in Super Turbo. I beat him once, and I'm never playing him again. But here's the thing, right? The Smash community, however, has it's different. Their hero worship is gotten to the point where it's so extreme compared to what the fighting game community is. It really is very different and it came from a lot, in my opinion, from the documentary and the fact that these same 5-6 guys keep getting top 8 every single event that they go to, right? So it's just like there's this weird untouchability from that has crafted from these players. So when it's gotten to that point, now I'm sitting here going like, look, you're part of the FGC. You should be doing things like this. You should be doing things our way. And I'm starting to think to myself, isn't this kind of what MLG was trying to do to us?
Something I've been thinking about for years, man. But I didn't, if Smash players want to be part of the rest of the fighting game community, that's totally cool. But I also know that for a long time, and it still continues to some extent, other fighting game players look down on Smash and on their players too. Yeah. So I've never been sure whether it's the fact that Smash players want to be separate or whether the rest of the fighting game people force them to be separate. I don't know. But I don't want to force anything on them. I guess I'm just not sure like which one of those things is the starter of it.
Also, one thing I want to address, a lot of people are saying like Smash is just a kids community. Smash is just a kids community.
It's
like Mewtwo King has been playing. Mewtwo King has been playing
10 years ago.
Mewtwo King has been playing Melee since like 2004. You know, like
I don't understand how this still survives. Like that was literally a 10-year-old conversation. Now a lot of the top players are mid to late 20s. They have kids. They literally have kids. They're graduates. They're professional engineers. Like, I don't understand why this persists, but it does. I mean, in fact, I feel that if you were to look at those sort of the gods, that
Uh-huh.
average age is way higher than a lot of the average age for some of the top
Street
SF5
Fighter
players
yeah.
right now, let alone other games. So I don't know why this persists at all.
Yeah.
MKX is run by a teenager.
Yeah.
It has
That
been
is
for
true.
2-3 years.
That is a factual statement.
If you think
Whatever.
about it and you ask the community, you say, hey, do you guys want to join us or do you want to be a part of us? It's completely different. Being a part is saying that, hey, we're going to adhere to your rules. We're going to succumb to this because we feel like the overall system is beneficial to us. I wouldn't say get in only because the limelight is shining bright enough. I mean, I feel like, me personally, I have a lot of respect for the Smash community overall. Smash 1, Smash 4 as well. I mean, Smash Melee and Smash 4. I love those games. But on the same note, like, I like seeing them in the format that they are in the FGC. And I feel like the fact that it keeps changing as it goes on, like, oh, well, we want to be able to do this and we want to be able to do that. The FGC has matured long enough for us to get past this.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't understand. I don't understand where...
The one thing that I would say, though, is that, you know, if Smash wants... So if they have their own Smash events, like Genesis, like SmashCon, and whatever rules they want to do, if they want to float people, if they want to do anything like that, that's fine.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you know, if they do want to be part of EVO, if they want to be part of CEO, if they're they're going to have to understand that there are going to need to be compromises. You know what I mean? Because those are more FGC-oriented events. And yes, the timer's out, so let's start wrapping this topic up.
Just the one thing I was going to say about that is that I really like Smash, and I think it's awesome, and I like their own events a lot.
Yeah,
But one, like you said, if they don't enjoy that there are going to be different rule sets, because obviously like Evo is running the game 2 out of 3 or whatever,
Right.
And like some people are upset, they want 3 out of 5 and stuff like that. Smash is big enough that they don't have to be
have
at
their own
our
events
events.
already.
Yeah, they already have their own events that are awesome, and I feel like if you're going to go through the trouble of being mistreated by a lot of the FGC communities is jerks to Smash, right? If you're just going to go through the trouble of being mistreated by a community that you don't need to survive. Like, why are you dealing with that? If you don't enjoy the rule sets of the events, and you like
I
the
feel like
community
it's
is
two
being a
different
jerk.
things.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's two
For
different
me-
things.
I feel like so like lots of FGC people are not like cancerous jerks about it. Like all of us think Smash is cool.
That's
like,
vice versa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We have people in the FGC that like Smash, but you got people in the FGC that
That
don't
don't
like
like
Smash.
Smash, yeah.
But you got Smash people that like being a part of the FGC.
And
And
you
you
got
got
people that
Smash
don't
people
like
that
it.
don't.
Right.
It's the common
Of course.
thing. That's always
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Of course.
I mean, I think that they can still benefit each other. So I would like to not
too.
see them separate. But again, I just think that also I guess the main thing is that if the Smash community wants to do something that the FGC proper thinks is ridiculous for their own events, you know what?
Do it.
Just let them do it,
Yeah.
right? But if the Smash community does join, for example, like it's one thing when you run a Smash event and you've got 4 Smash games that you're playing over there. It's another thing when you join CEO or Evo and you've got 9 games, right?
Right.
Every game suffered, right? At Evo, the MK community wasn't happy.
Yeah,
the
I don't
KI
think anybody
community
was
wasn't The
happy.
Smash community
Yeah.
was. Everyone was kind of like equally miserable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
But
have a lot of work to do.
that's not because Evo did anything wrong, but that's just because when you're running an event of that scale, compromises have to be made, and not everybody is happy about it, right? So if you want to be a part of those kind of events, you know, hopefully you understand that that's the kind of sacrifice. It's not that the Evo staff had anything out for the Smash community or anything like that. It's, like I said, every community was kind of a little salty at one point in time, but... that's all. Like, if the Smash community does whatever they want for their own events, you know what? Cool for them. But if they're going to be on the fighting game, like CEO and stuff like that, you know, I'm not saying, like, suck it up, but just, like, understand that
Yeah.
there's going to be compromises to be made.
Point made.
Yeah, like yeah.
I hope to still see, Smash in our events because I
Yeah,
always
I like
enjoy
watching it.
I love watching Smash.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I
me
love
too.
it. I love it.
I mean, don't
And I
get
have
me
tons
wrong.
of friends in the Smash community, so
Dude,
it
I
would
even
suck
want
to not see them,
to
for
learn
sure.
how to commentate Smash Wii U. Like, I actually want to
Do it, man.
see if
That'd be
I can
great.
learn how to commentate that game.
You'd never
so.
be able to walk anywhere. You're gonna have to schedule your fan
Actually,
commentary
that would be
interaction
very interesting
time.
if we have another show in like a year where James is like, so here's my year in the Smash scene. Here's how it's gone. And we'll be like, oh, okay,
That
let's have a
actually
conversation
would be-
about it.
All right, time
You're
to
gonna be-
time to
We'll be
infiltrate
commentating League
the-
of Fighters, and we'll be like, whatever. Smash problems?
League of Fighters.
We're at the LCS, dude. Come on.
Oh, God, what a world.